Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, it's a pleasure. Pleasure?
It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Also, I need to cut the fan off.
What?
Can y'all hear me between
I hear
the
that.
fan?
I don't hear that.
Okay, between the fan and my AC unit, we are outside and it's hot as hell.
It is.
We're in Atlanta.
HOTlanta. Ooh, are we not supposed
Did you
to say
just
that?
Ma'am. Ooh, y'all, she just...
I promise you, I'm from here. And
no one says HOTlanta. Let's be clear. No one says that. But what we wanted to do was reintroduce Miss Bri'el, since y'all had a blast with her the first time, and I think the second time, was that a second time?
I think
the second
this is
time.
number 3.
So this is number 3, and what we wanted to do was update you all on what's been happening behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, to the side of the scenes, with this whole notary situation, 9-to-5 life, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep it at 15 minutes or less, because I like to have somewhat brief videos, because we all have short attention spans and y'all got things to do. So that being said, Miss Bri'el, welcome back.
Thank you.
Happy
Happy to be back finally.
to have you back.
Listen, we have been trying
For
months, actually. Trying to record another video, and life in between the scenes has gotten in the way. So here we are. We had lunch or late dinner,
early dinner, late lunch, whatever you want to call it. We ate and we drank and we're here.
We're here.
We might be continuing to drink, but don't worry about what's in our cup. We're all adults, okay? But here's what I wanted to start with. So I had my second Snapdocs notification, and it was for a witnessing appointment, or witness appointment.
Yeah.
And Miss Bri'el, I asked her about how things were going with Snapdocs. I've had 2 positive experiences. Well, the first one was a little shaky, but it wasn't because of Snapdocs. But I've had 2 experiences.
Yeah.
She's had more notifications than I have.
I've had a total of 10 in Snapdocs so far.
That many?
One was canceled, but I would say 9. One was canceled, and that was $90, y'all. One was canceled, but I've had a total of 9 actual successful appointments through Snapdocs. I'm constantly getting notifications for Snapdocs.
When you say successful, like you had them,
Like I
received
went
and
to-
you went and they were completed.
Yes, exactly. Like I've received
Why
money.
don't I get the same one?
I don't know.
Mind y'all, we live like 10 minutes apart, I think.
Less than that, really.
So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm not getting all the notifications. Don't mind the neighbor's dog. I'm not getting those notifications.
I don't really know what the rhyme or reason is, because like in the Facebook groups, I speak to some of the young ladies. I'm in a couple of different notary, beginner notary, notary babe, notary sisters, like Facebook groups, and they kind of all ask the same thing. Like, I've been a notary for months now. I'm signed up with Snapdocs, but I'm not getting any notifications. And I'm like, it literally is persistence. And any notification that you get, you accept it, or if you can't make it, like literally say, I'm not available at that time, or the pay is too low, just consistently respond. And I don't know, I think it's also one of those things where if you're successful with an appointment, I know I have one closing company that uses me a lot, and I think that's the one where you got the witness from,
Okay.
McDonald and Associates, and they pay $25 for witnessing, which is fine, but I do highly recommend you do those, because it definitely helps you get your feet wet with working with attorneys, especially if you're in an attorney state, and just going through that process. And if you do have the time to sit through the whole situation, then sit through it at least 1 or 2 times. But typically they put the witness portions, or the documents that need witnessing, in the front so that you can go on about your business, which is great. But if you do have time, you don't have like a 9-to-5, or you don't have anywhere to be after the appointment, sit through it, hear how the attorney goes through the documents, and that way you kind of have an idea of how a refinance, a purchase, or something like that goes. And then you can also ask the attorney questions too.
That's a good point, because you guys, I did that witness appointment I did. It was for a refinance. It was like a 15-year refinance, the attorney, she was real, like, she was on it. She showed up maybe 1 or 2 minutes, like, a little bit behind schedule. I showed up, like, right at 4 p.m. But when I tell you she came in, she had that bag. I actually recorded a little brief something about it, a very short video, because I talked about putting the bags on the table. Don't put your bag on my table. That's a whole nother topic for another day. But she came and she ran through that paperwork. She was like, this is this. Does this match with what you were expecting? Does this match with what you were expecting? Did they explain this to you? If not, okay, this is what this means. Like, I was like, I wish I would have recorded the phone, the actual verbal conversation, because she was flawless with it. And he only stopped her like twice. He was real quick. He was like, nope, I went through the paperwork too. Okay, just one question. Does this go here or does this go here?
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, like, she's good. But you could tell she had been doing it for a little while. She looked younger.
What her name was?
I cannot remember. But
You can tell me later.
yeah, I'll tell you later. I'll look back and see. But she was on it. And she asked me to stay just a little bit longer because she wasn't 100% sure that she flagged all the areas for me to sign.
Gotcha.
She said she had been on the go and she kind of rushed a little bit. I was like, that's fine. I don't have nothing to do. It's Friday at 4. There's traffic. I ain't got nowhere to be.
Yeah. 100%.
Nowhere to be. Take your time.
Yeah.
So that's all of that to say, yes, that part. And also replying. You have to reply whether it's yes or no, like you said. I think some people get the notifications and then think it's okay to just ignore them if they can't go. That's not what you want to do.
And you don't have to be quick about it. Like, there are times where I've sat on the text message and I haven't, like, responded quickly because I was in the middle of doing something or whatever. But I still reply, because what you want to make sure with Snapdocs is you want to make sure that your response rate is at 100%. Because I think that I don't know what their algorithm is like, but it makes a difference. And so you want to make sure that even if you don't get it, just keep responding. It's really like a numbers game. And I think this weekend, I had a really busy weekend, but I got the same notification. They really needed someone and I still wasn't able to do it because I had plans, but I got the same notification twice that they were still looking. So there are, it literally is just like, they're going to keep pushing out the notifications as much as possible until someone responds. So even if you're not available, say no, I'm not available. If you don't like the price, do know that if you don't like the price, they are going to ask you what you would like to receive, and that if they accept you, they're going to give you that price. So you kind of have to know in your head and know your schedule and know what you got going on for the weekend or during the day before you accept the assignment, because you don't want to find yourself in a position where, like, oh, that payment's too low, I need $100-something, and then you get it and you're like, oh wait, I already booked myself something else, and now you're kind of in that appointment, because you don't want to say no, you can't do it, because then you might not.
They might take you out.
They might take you out the system.
I would take you out the system. I've never feel some kind of way.
Right, like, and I've never experienced that, but you do want to you need to know what your calendar looks like, either in your phone or mentally, before you commit to anything, regardless if it's the pay is not there or if you don't have the time or whatever the case may be.
You just made me think of something else. So that keeping up with your schedule piece.
Yes.
So keeping up with things in my head, that does not exist. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
Everything goes onto the appropriate Google Calendar. And I think I mentioned this before, but I have like 7 or 8 calendars, maybe 7.
Yeah.
And they all serve their purpose. I've got my personal, my dad's, my work. I got 3 for work. I got 1 that's for the family. All these different calendars. My Notary Gadget calendar, my pitch calendar. But it all makes sense to have them separate, because I can see them all in one place on my Google Calendar. And I think it's really important that things integrate, that things populate.
Yes.
But what I was going to say was, so Snapdocs, I know once I accepted the assignment and it came to my email, I had the option to add it to my calendar. But I wasn't thinking about that because I'm used to using Notary Gadget. So I then went and like separately typed it into Notary Gadget.
I always do that.
You do? Okay.
I always do that.
I was thinking that made sense because it's still my accounting system.
Yeah, I always add it into Notary Gadget, because even though Snapdocs is kind of, they're similar.
Yeah.
So you can get your, signings in Snapdocs, and you can keep up with your revenue and all of that stuff in Snapdocs as well. But what I do like about Notary Gadget is that it's separate. So like when you're pulling the reports for tax season or whatever, and all of that kind of cost, which you can probably do in, Snapdocs. I like the separation between the two.
Yeah.
And, keeping up with clients, because I'm able to add in my general notary work in Notary Gadget. Not to say that I can't, I've just not explored Snapdocs to, its full capacity as far as that. But I do separately put it in Notary Gadget just because I'm just so used to it.
Okay, so I don't feel crazy.
No.
It made sense to me to still put it in there. So when it's time for me to file taxes, I just pull that one record.
And it's still my checks and balances too. So when, like I get it, like I just got a check for, one of my signings from Snapdocs in the mail. And even though I have it in Notary Gadget, I still mark it as completed in there so that my cash is counted. And and then Snapdocs also, depending on how they pay, if it's by check for certain closing and signing services, you have to manually do it in Snapdocs.
Okay.
So then I have to go into Snapdocs and, mark it off. But I will say, I don't know if this makes a difference, but to me it does. I log into Snapdocs every day. Really? I always just, just kind of peruse around. I'm not doing much of anything, but I don't know if the activity, knowing that you're constantly just like
in there
in the system, lets them know like, oh, okay, she's still active. So I just do that as just like kind of a good practice, just to say, because I will say that I've been, commissioned since January. So I'm only signed up with 2, and that's just because I have a very, demanding 9 to 5. And signing order that I'm also signed up with, I don't get as many notifications with them. I've had one signing order signing, and I don't go into their system as much, but I go to Snapdocs all day, every day, even on my phone. And so I feel like there is some type of correlation between knowing that Snapdocs is like, oh, she's constantly visited here. Me and my marketing brain is just like, oh, well, I can see
she's checking
how many, clicks I've been getting to this link, or whoever's IP address is, accessing the website. So that means that they're constantly looking. So I'm going to keep sending them the notifications.
That's deep.
This is me and my marketing logic brain that just makes sense to me, because I'm not going into signing order.
That's interesting, because I did used to go in it all the time in the beginning. And you remember in the beginning I was telling you, oh, I got notification.
Yeah.
You might be onto something.
Listen,
if you all think that this is a thing, let us know in the comments, because I'm curious to see if there are any other behaviors that you all are engaging in that you think are increasing the amount, or is increasing the amount of activity you're seeing as far as notifications are concerned. Snapdocs has like a really good,
their interface is just beautiful.
Their interface is so user friendly.
But, not to knock signing order, but it's just not pretty. I'm all about aesthetics. It's just,
a lot of the other companies are like that though. Like it's very much like this is the function, take it or leave it. Snapdocs, I think that is what set them apart from me, and what made me want to sign up with them. And then me looking them up on YouTube and seeing, the interviews, and they're the people who actually work for the company talking about the different ways you can actually increase your visibility. Snapdocs is on to something.
Yeah.
And there's another one.
I follow them on LinkedIn, and they just got like more money and investments.
That funding?
Yeah, they got more funding. So, I mean, to me, as a beginner notary, I think that that's probably like one of the first places you should definitely sign up with. Their process of acceptance is rigorous, but I kind of like that.
Girl, it took like 4 months for me. I was like, this is a scam. But no,
right? No, it's worth it. And make sure your stuff is up to date. Like if you have a number or something changes, just keep your your stuff up to date, but I definitely highly recommend just going in at least once or twice a day, consistently.
Okay. Okay.
And I need to be consistent with other things, but I'm definitely
Listen.
consistent with signing order.
Listen, consistency is something we're working on. We're getting there. I am not consistent, and when I post a video about my activity, you can see it in my Notary Gadget how I've just like,
Oh my gosh.
I went from like 20 something appointments in the
June
first
has
2
been-
months to like 5.
June has
And
been
I was okay with that.
oof for me. June, I've been out here living a hot mom summer. So like,
Nothing wrong with that.
as bad as it sounds, like my business has been on a little bit of a back burner.
But your love life takes precedent as well.
Listen,
Love, business.
we out here flourishing.
Listen. Well balanced, okay? Balance is key. But you know what? We're going to pause right here because there's going to be a part 2 to this. We're going to come back. In the meantime, we appreciate y'all stopping by.
Yes.
This
Thanks
is,
for
what's
listening to
today's
us.
date?
It is the 27th of June.
That is a fancy watch. What is what?
What? It's my
Okay.
Black Folk Unite color background.
Okay, I was just looking at it very. Okay, there we go. So it's Sunday, June 27th.
Yes.
You can catch us in another catch up. It'll be a continuation of this. We're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Right.
We
so
just
don't
gotta break it up so
Don't
y'all can
expect our
digest.
clothes to change.
It's not. I'm gonna be in the same outfit probably for the
Don't-
next
don't
3
judge
weeks.
us.
Don't judge.
Judge your mama.
Yeah, ooh. And that's that on that. It's been a pleasure chatting with y'all again. We'll see you next time.
Bye.